The crypto market is a little bit reddish today. A lot of altcoins are down 5, 10, some of them even 30%. And I see already on Twitter and other social media the people running around like headless chicken and screaming, "Oh, I thought it is altcoin season. Why is this and that crypto down? The market is stable, but Algorand is actually 7% down. What's happening? And oh, this and that is over," and so on. So a lot of still, I think, something like post-traumatic stress disorder from the previous bear market. But it's not really what it looks like and not really something to worry about. So let's discuss in this quick video update. Hey everyone, it's the Patient Hodler coming at you without a video apparently. There we go. And in this one we are going to talk about what you're already seeing here behind me. So we see a lot of coins that are minus 12% like Beam, for example, minus 7.6 like Algorand, minus 6% Phantom, minus 5% on Chainlink, minus 5% VeChain, and so on. This is the daily view, and no matter if you go in the top 100 or 200, most stuff, if it isn't called Jasmy, is down between 5 and 10%. And a couple of people are worried about that. And I want to disperse this worry a little bit. If you enjoyed these type of small crypto market video updates, then let me know by smashing up the like button. Smashing up the like button is the number one thing that you can do for me and for this channel. And therefore, I am very grateful if you do that. And if you do that, then I will put more effort into these and put more videos like this out. But I digress. Let's crack on here, and also don't forget to subscribe, by the way. So if we go to the week, it's already a little bit of a different picture because we see it's more mixed on the week. There are a couple of things that are already retracing on the weekly that are down a little bit more, 20%, 12%, and so on. But if we go on the month, largely everything is green. What does that imply to us? We're kind of taking a breather from a lot of pumping. Now, going with Bitcoin first. Bitcoin has hit overhead resistance, as we can see here. We're forming something like that looks like a bull flag, but we're frequently testing towards the downside, losing a couple of percent, $2,000, so to say, on the price. But that's completely normal behavior because we have also ripped up basically from where we were down here in the matter of a couple of days, so to say, or in a month, 35%. So it's only natural that at some point we're hitting overhead resistance. We have discussed yesterday that there is actually a lot of confluence on this specific line where we're trying to get to the next price level. There is something behind that Bitcoin movement, and I want to show it to you first, and then we're going to talk about the altcoins. There's also only 59 days left until the block rewards for Bitcoin are slashed and smashed in half, okay? So let's go with it. First of all, there's something bullish that is going to influence the price in a positive way, and no one can do anything about it. If you see the black line here is the price, and if you see the orange line right above my head, that is the reserve on exchanges, the balance that is left on exchanges. And this balance has taken a sharp drop at the Bitcoin bottom and is ever since decreasing. And now we have the situation that the Bitcoin in exchanges falls from 2.356 million to 2.314 million BTC, a decrease from 12 to 11.79% of total supply, lowest since April 2018. That is the lowest supply since April 2018. And I can already tell you what has a tremendous effect on that is the Bitcoin spot ETFs. Now, what we also see here, if we're looking at accumulation addresses, that, and I move my face a little bit to another corner, that we have the price again in blue, and we have inflows in orange. And you see here on the previous bull market, we also have first a lot of inflow bars, and then at some point the price just takes off in a parabolic manner. This also is happening right now. We see a little bit around the bottom area that the inflows are increasing, and then basically into those addresses we have an all-time high of 25,300 BTC. That is the highest inflow that has been ever recorded according to this chart. Also probably has to do with the Bitcoin spot ETFs. Now here we see the Bitcoin spot ETFs holdings over time. And we see here there is the HODL, the ARK Invest, the BlackRock one, and many others, right? And then we don't record in this one GBTC, because GBTC actually has outflows, okay? So and it's more like a measurement of what causes actually the inflows. We're going to look at GBTC in a second as well. But what we see is that the new 9 Bitcoin ETFs, and there will be more coming if this is a successful product, which it is, the other asset managers will introduce one of their own as well. And that might take a little while, but it will be coming. So we see that there is an increase, a large increase from 0 BTC to 273,000 BTC. You have to really consider what that number means. That means at the moment, these 273,000 are bound by market demand in those ETFs, and this trend is increasing. That means that at some point, they will have to buy more BTC probably in the next trading day. That also means that if there's almost nothing left on the exchanges, where do you get it from? The price has to go up so that people are willing to sell it more on exchanges, or willing to sell it OTC for a certain price. But if you don't get it OTC, they have to buy it on exchanges. And that could cause a price squeeze. Every time that there's not enough to fill up these ETFs, the price will just jump up, because they have to basically offer more to be able to buy that. But they cannot just decide to not buy that anymore. The price will increase. Here we see it as well. The new Bitcoin ETF saw a price inflow of 136 million, about 2,600 BTC on February 20th. That was yesterday. So yesterday there is an inflow of 2,600 BTC, but, and this explains why, so 136 million, and this explains why the price doesn't move at the moment. There was also an offset, an outflow from GBTC, the only spot Bitcoin ETF that is losing funds at the moment, of 137 million. So we have a net outflow of 1 million. So even though the others were accumulating 2,500 BTC, that all came basically out of GBTC and moved into the other ones. So there is no buying yesterday, basically, and there's even the selling of 1 million, or more or less. 1 million doesn't move the needle on anything. I can already tell you that. But the interesting thing is, if you see that on a regular trading day, the other 9 ETFs have 136 million inflow, 2,500. And the current Bitcoin production from miners and everything is 900 Bitcoin per day. That exceeds, by 1,700 Bitcoin, the demand exceeds by the production rate by 1,700. So at the moment that GBTC is drained, you only have the demand. And the demand is only increasing at the moment, as we can see, because otherwise the reserves on exchanges wouldn't drop. Okay, so, and that we can learn this here from all of these educational sites, that we have roughly 900 BTC produced per day. But in 59 days, we have the halving coming up, and the halving is going to cut that reward rate into 2, divided by 2. That means that at that point in time, we're only going to supply 450 BTC more or less per day. And that also means that then that same demand hits an even dwindling shrinking supply. So all signs, where do I want to get with this, right? All signs are looking at Bitcoin is going to go up. And we see that also in the Fear and Greed Index. At the moment, we have the Fear and Greed Index coming in at 72. That is 3 points below extreme greed. The massive bull runs are usually driven by a constant status of extreme greed. There are a little bit like pullbacks where this goes back, but overall, usually this extreme greed phase starts when it goes parabolic. And right now, we are not in this super dark green phase, not yet. So we see we're kind of, if you want to compare it to previous cycles, we're kind of here in this transitory phase to go into the extreme greed phase where everyone is FOMOing into it. And this price clash or the squeeze, this bottleneck that is opening with these ETF demands, this kind of automatic demands from new customers, is going to feed into that there is nothing on the exchanges left until the price climbs a new level where new people are willing to sell. And then there is something left for the ETFs again. They will absorb it all and then the price has to jump up again. Now remember one thing. The ETF is no one-way street. It's not like the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust before where only ETF like BTC could flow in. The moment that a lot of ETF holders decide to liquidate their ETFs, these asset managers will offer large amounts of Bitcoin on the market. So this can still happen. And I'm curious to see how massive these swings can be, because then the Bitcoin amounts that are going to be loaded off the market and then bought back are going to be also way bigger. But probably this is going to just behave as before in the Bitcoin market. And then finally, we are going to expect some returns, right? So we saw that. So we are here right now. So what this channel is expecting, so to say, is here. We had now a 2.3x after a 2.7x. So we're calculating diminishing returns in a pre-bull that make absolute sense, like 4.7. 3.4x, 2.7x, 2.3x-ish if we conclude on the halving. And then based on what we saw before, we should go roughly more or less from an average line, this average line that is drawn in here, roughly a 4.2x to 150,000 in the next bull run. So this is the calculation that people are putting out. In that light, if we are expecting a 4x from where we are right now or something like that, 3 to 4x. And we know that at any stage, Bitcoin profits are trickling into altcoins. There's absolutely no reason to be desperate about the small pullbacks here on the altcoins. Absolutely no reason, in my opinion. Instead, for everyone who's like, oh my God, I couldn't pack my bags, if we see a little bit more of this could be still a good possibility to enter. I don't know how long this will take. I don't know how steep this will be going. But as a matter of fact, you're buying cheaper than yesterday. That is something. And we're very early in the altcoin cycle as well. So going back to this, we're forming a very similar pattern as in the runs before. And I want to highlight one thing. Here's marked a bull phase, like a parabolic bull phase. It's coming after the halving. We're 59 days off of the halving, roughly estimated now to be on the 20th of April. We have a pre-bull that is looking upwards. We had a pre-bull that was looking downwards before, but if we're looking way in the beginning here, we have a pre-bull that is also going upwards. So we could mimic a parabolic move with a blow-off top, just like 2 cycles ago. What are we going to look forward to? Bull, yeah. 1.5 years of bull market action. So there's really no reason to be shaken out right now by price action in the altcoins. Instead, we should be looking more towards what is really coming, and that we are only in an accumulation / pre-bull phase that is going to conclude in 59 days. Or to keep it more simple, as TechDev posts here, don't overcomplicate it. You see it here, the MACD crosses. We just had the MACD cross, and this is just the beginning. This is where the Bollinger Bands are really tight, and after that there is a parabolic run. We didn't even really go into this parabolic run that just is months and months on end on green. We didn't. So every pullback right now is a present. Now this brings me to my most important point, because there are a lot of people out there that are claiming that we are in an altcoin season. And if we're looking at the others chart, the combined altcoins minus the top 10 altcoins minus stablecoins, we had a good run for the altcoins, but it's nowhere near an altcoin season. And I'm going to highlight that once again. We are currently in a stage that is more or less this here. Yeah, if you compare all the signs, we are more or less in this stage here. The altcoin season would begin above and beyond this yellow line, and only with another sign that is very important. So we have not started this parabolic run that in the last time, let's say we're very glued to this line like we're right now, that last time brought us a rough 9.5x from where we are already with the altcoins. So that means on average and across the board, more likely than not, all of these not top 10 coins did a 9x last time. So we could expect something similar, a little bit less with diminishing returns right now as well. This pullback just gives us a little bit more room for multiples, right? And we don't know. This could take weeks. Yeah, this pullback could take weeks, but it doesn't have to. We could just break it and go on the moon mission, okay? Because of the ETF situation that I outlined before. The second and most important factor, in my opinion, is this one: Bitcoin dominance. So even though with the pullback, if we're looking at the weekly for Bitcoin dominance, there is a very, very clear trend here. And I'm going to have to refresh because I get frequently rugged by my trading view. There is a very, very clear trend on Bitcoin dominance. So that means with which percentage of the entire crypto market cap Bitcoin is dominating the market. And at the moment, Bitcoin is dominating with 53.26%, near the all-time high of its dominance, forming something that looks more bullish than bearish. Nowhere in the world is this an altcoin season. This is not an altcoin season. We had a little bit of a downside and the altcoins pumped. We had a little bit more, the altcoins pumped. But overall, Bitcoin is just taking a breather on its quest to go to 55 and maybe 60 dominance. It's absolute Bitcoin season. All eyes are on Bitcoin. Bitcoin is still firing up, unless proven otherwise. Like when you think of a support line and it falls into oblivion, then we can talk about an altcoin season. In the grand picture, the last real altcoin season that we had is this one. That's the last real altcoin season that we have. And here we also see that how Bitcoin behaved before. Like if you look at the cycle before, it's like Bitcoin pumped, and then it took a breather for a longer time, like we're doing right now. And then it pumped once more, and then it took a breather, and it pumped once more, and then it reached its dominance high. And from there, it had a waterfall-like collapse, and that was when everyone and their grandmother went crazy with the altcoins, and everyone got rich. This is the only true altcoin season after this one here. So these are not real altcoin seasons down here, right? I mean, technically this is a small altcoin season if you want, but this is a real altcoin season. So I think what we are looking for is to see how this plays out, how high this goes when Bitcoin goes into, after the halving, into parabolic mode, and at some point it will top out. Nonetheless, this is all I want to highlight for today. I hope you enjoyed this little video update on the entire crypto market. And yeah, make sure to smash the like, subscribe to the channel, tick the little bell to always get notified. And wherever you are on the world, have a great morning, evening, day, night, or afternoon. Don't fall into despair with all of the crypto stuff. Just turn off the whole thing if it gets to your nerves. Wait a little bit. The next green weeks are coming for sure, and I see you in the next video.